Hi, my name is Allie, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the maker behind Crochet in the Mud, where I do both crochet plushies as well as pottery. And this is going to be another one of my weekly mix videos. So this week was a little different. In terms of inventory, very unproductive. In terms of other things, very productive. So not every week is going to be one that you get a ton of inventory done. So I feel like I got nothing done, but so much at the same time. And that just happens. So for this one, I'll just kind of walk you through my week to show you kind of what I did, and then along the way what I managed to get done. So Monday is a filming day, like today is Monday, and also an editing day. And I spent longer than normal editing Monday, so I think I finished, or I called it quits editing at 3 o'clock. I could have kept going, but I decided to edit later on in the week instead. So I had about an hour or two to crochet. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, I went to the Pottery studio, so I did get some inventory made. So I will pop the video up that I did manage to get. So I ended up making 12 herb strippers and 7 cups. These ones do not have handles, and I have plans to glaze them in a way that's going to emulate pride flags for my pride market coming up in June. So they're not very interesting now, but they will hopefully be really cool when I get to glaze firing them. And I finally have my bisque firing and my glaze firing on the calendar for the guild. So by mid-May, I will be unloading a glaze kiln, and I'm hoping to be able to squeeze in a second glaze firing by my pride market, which is mid-June. But excitingly, I did get a full-time summer position that I've been wanting to get for years. So we'll see if I am able to squeeze that in, because I do have some part-time training mid to late May, and then June really hits the full-time working. So we'll see if I can manage to get a second one in, but I'm really hoping I can. I do think at this point I have about 1.5 bisque kilns of inventory made, so it's not too much more I need to be able to make the second bisque and therefore second glaze kiln. Both of those days I did come home and I had again about an hour or two that I could crochet, but I didn't get very far. Then come Thursday, I worked a shift at my store that I sell in, so once again got home about 3 o'clock and had about an hour or two to crochet. And then finally on Friday, if you weren't aware, I am one of the treasurers at my pottery guild, and I'm still kind of learning stuff, and it was time to do quarterly taxes. So I met with the other treasurer to ask some questions that I'm not sure how to do in terms of the treasurer position and do the sales tax. I did go home a little earlier this day. I think I got home at like 1 o'clock, so a little bit more time to crochet. So now you can kind of see why, I was doing stuff all week, but not necessarily crocheting. So for most of the days that I had about an hour or two, I was prepping for my pride market. So this is a new item. I've only made it once before, but I think it will be really good at pride. So I made the rainbow variant of the tofu turtle. Part of the reason I didn't get much done is because I made 20 shells. So I spent most of, I think like the first 4 days just making shells, and I did not finish all of these shells, adding bodies to them. So in total I finished 11 tofu turtles in entirety. I could have made 20, but I just did not have time for this. So I sell these for $20 a piece. My tofu turtles are normally $18, but with all of these color changing it does take longer, so they are going to be $20. And that is the majority of what I crocheted this week. I did, however, manage to do one more thing, which is the Blissful Bear from Crochet by Jenna. This one is covered in fluffies. I need to lint roll it, but I use the color taupe, And I wish I had a different color I could have done this in. I did add one of my safety noses in that I am just finding any excuse to use because I have so many. I have been trying to buy some small pink safety noses, but I've yet to find a way I can order just one size of pink. I only ever find them in variety packs, so I'm really trying to find uses for the black noses and the big ones and all of that. So drop in the comments if you have suggestions for especially big pink noses. What can I put those on? And then like black noses. What kind of pattern should I look into doing so I can just use up some stuff that I've bought. So I ended up making 2 of these, and they came out in my formula to be $36 a piece, and I will add those in to my market. So in total, for the items I finished this week and then the items I made at my market, for pottery I do calculate it at 70% when it comes to pricing, just because they're not finished, but it takes a while to be able to finish a pottery piece. So in total I made 32 items, which came to $565 of inventory. Now this does not meet my weekly goal of inventory, but that's okay, it happens. You're not going to reach your goal every week. And also, you know, this week gave my wrist a little bit of a break. So if you're not aware, my goal is to make at least $750 of inventory every week, but ideally I want to make $1,000 plus. So if you're curious for which one is pottery and how much is crochet plushies, 292 of the 565 is for plushies. So when it comes to how much I have in total for markets, and again, this only counts crochet plushies, I really should sit down one day and calculate how much pottery I have in inventory, but I haven't done that yet. So for markets, we are currently at $5,540 worth of inventory. So we are slowly getting there in terms of our $8,000 of inventory by Memorial Day. In regards to the tofu turtles, the rainbow ones, I will probably bring a handful, maybe maximum 5 of them, to my other markets before Pride and hold most of these off until the Pride market. But I am going to go ahead and count them for market inventory. Part of the reason that I want to have $8,000 of inventory by my Memorial Day market is because 2 weeks later is my Pride market, and I will be working full-time and won't have much time to market prep in between, aside from the one weekend and then make whatever I can get done after work. Luckily, this week is going to be different because I have no obligations this week, so it's 5 days fully at home where I can do anything that I think needs done for the business, which is going to be mostly crochet. So hopefully I am able to not spend so much time editing this week so that I can focus all of my effort onto crocheting, and hopefully we can get $1,000 of inventory done this week. That would be really nice to add to my inventory. I also want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers I got. Currently, my Kite Festival market vlog has been blowing up. Well, for me, it's currently at, I believe, 1,400 views, which I have never gotten that many views before, and I think I got quite a few new subscribers from there. So hi, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone who has joined this channel and is looking forward to seeing where my crochet journey takes me. So thank you so much for tuning in to another video this week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!